everyone. My name is Laura Rizak, and I'm the Associate Rector at St. Stephen's Episcopal Church in Charleston, South Carolina. And I'm so glad to be with you today for our family faith formation. Our topic today is angels. And how do we talk to our kids about angels? And also, why is it important? I'll start with that last one first. Why is it important? Why should we think about that? Why should we encourage our kids to think about angels? Why should we share that with our children? I think it's important to give our children and each other a sense that there is an unseen world around us that is good, that is loving. There are so many things in this world to be afraid of. If we had to name some of the dark and scary parts of the world, I think we could do that pretty easily. And especially as we're coming into Halloween, we think a lot. I know we've been doing Halloween at Walmart for a couple months, but we're almost to October. This is almost legitimate Halloween time. During that season, we think a lot about ghosts and vampires and werewolves and things that go bump in the night. And I think that's important to talk about. I'll do a little video on that later. But just as we talk about things that go bump in the night, we need to talk about things that bless in the night. We need to talk about that unseen world that collaborates with God, that supports the creation, that acts out of love. I think that we would behave differently as people if we felt ourselves surrounded by love and light rather than by darkness. And so it's important, I think, to give children a sense of that there are angels. There is this wider unseen world that we might not notice, but that supports everything around us, that everything that's unseen supports everything that can be seen. Now, when you're talking about angels with your kids, there are a couple questions that you might get. The first one is, okay, fine, they're in this unseen world, but surely people have seen them at some point, otherwise we wouldn't know they're there. Yes, people have seen them. This is supported in stories from our tradition, from saints. This is actually supported also in sacred scripture. There are angels that appear in the Hebrew Bible many times, as well as in the New Testament. People have seen them. So one might say, okay, people have seen them, what do they look like? A child might ask, well, what do angels look like? Now we all have our precious moment idea of what angels look like, adorable little cherubs with the wings on the back. And maybe that's certainly an image that has been supported by Christian iconography and so forth. But there's also other descriptions in the Bible, in scripture, in both the Hebrew Bible and in the New Testament, of angels that don't quite fit with the precious moments idea. In Genesis, there are angels that appear and they look just like humans. There are also angels that appear in the book of Ezekiel, for example, that look very inhuman. They have 4 faces, and some of the faces are animal faces, and they have multiple sets of wings that are covering their body, and they sound terrifying. So, multiple different images, right? It's one of the reasons I think that an angel, when they appear in scripture, one of the first things an angel often says is, do not be afraid, because maybe it's really scary to see something that's usually unseen. Maybe it would look like a regular person, or maybe it would look like an angel with wings, but maybe it would look like something totally different. And so that could be why so often when an angel appears, the first thing they say is, don't be afraid. So what do they look like? Lots of different people report lots of different things. Second thing you might be asked is, well, what do angels do? Why do they matter? What do they do? Well, angels have a few different functions. In scripture, they often function as messengers. Think about the angel Gabriel coming to Mary and saying, you're going to have a baby. That's an example of an angel being a messenger from God. That's often how they function. Angels can often function as healers. that Angel Raphael is said to be a healer, to provide healing to humans. And angels can also function as protectors. And the angel I want to spend just the next minute or so talking about fits into that category. Tomorrow, September 29th, is a feast day dedicated to an angel who is traditionally said to be a protector. This angel is named Michael. He's one of the archangels. And he is seen as a protector and a warrior against the forces of darkness that would hurt the children of God. So he's considered to be a fighter against all those things that go bump in the night, considered to be a protector. And so because of this role, which is talked about both in the book of Daniel and the Hebrew scriptures, and also in the book of the Revelation, the last book of the New Testament, last book of the Bible, because of that, because he has that major role as protector, as warrior against darkness, as somebody who fights for the light, to try to help everybody live in love and peace, he's honored in our tradition. The Feast of St. Michael, which again is tomorrow, September 29th, it's usually, in back in the day, they called it Michaelmas, kind of like Christ has Christmas. This was Michaelmas. It was a pretty big deal. Not celebrated much anymore in our tradition. That's one of the feast days that, while certainly is still observed in many places, has kind of fallen out of the popular culture. But that's also, despite that, it is a great opportunity for families to take a moment in your daily life around the dinner table or whatever your family traditions are. It's a great opportunity to take a moment to talk about Michael specifically, but also angels in general, to acknowledge this great unseen world that collaborates with God, that is loving, that helps humans, that cares for humans, in contrast with those things that go bump in the night. So, I have some ideas to celebrate Michaelmas with your family. Traditionally, on that holiday, people would eat blackberries because there's this legend that Saint Michael, that Michael the Archangel, was the one that kicked Satan out of heaven when Satan rebelled against God. This is all the legend, okay, that's grown up around this. And that when Satan fell out of heaven, he landed in a blackberry patch and cursed the blackberries to be sour. So Christians said, well, we better hurry up and eat them all before the devil can curse them and they can turn sour. So it's tradition on Michaelmas to eat blackberries, like a blackberry cobbler or blackberry pie. So that's one thought, something that you could do to celebrate that. You could also wear something red, or go out and maybe collect red things that you find in nature, like red leaves. I know that we haven't quite started having leaves turning here in Charleston, but noticing red maybe on your drive to school or just on an evening walk. Red is the color of Michael. So that's a great opportunity to just say, hey, why don't we just notice? Let's just notice the red things around us. Maybe let's pick out a red shirt today. Well, why are we doing this? Well, we're doing this because this is Michaelmas, and this is the day that we honor Michael as an angel, and that we remember that there is this unseen world that's all around us, that's acting in love, and is acting to protect us and to heal us and to care for us. My friends, be well, stay safe, wear your masks, probably even if you're vaccinated, and I'll see you soon.